The Galactic Academy's cultural exchange program had seen many strange things over its 300-year history, but nothing quite prepared Professor Zilnax for what was about to walk through his classroom door. The Varelnian professor adjusted his third eye stalk nervously as he reviewed the day's agenda on his datapad. Today, the human exchange students would present their contribution to the Academy's traditional species bonding exercise, an ancient practice where students brought companions from their homeworlds to demonstrate the unique relationships different species formed with other life forms. Over the past week, Zilnax had witnessed a parade of adorable creatures. The Cathari had brought bioluminescent floaters that hummed soothing melodies. The Kixian delegation presented colony-minded critters that performed synchronized dances. Even the usually stoic Dramats had showcased crystalline beetles that could solve simple mathematical puzzles. The humans, however, had been suspiciously quiet about their presentation. Kevin Chen stood outside the classroom, checking his chronometer for the third time in as many minutes. Beside him, Jasmine Rodriguez adjusted her grip on the reinforced transport crate, trying to ignore the curious stares from passing students. "You sure about this?" Kevin whispered, eyeing the crate with a mixture of pride and concern. Jasmine grinned, her dark eyes sparkling with mischief. "Too late to back out now. Besides, Shadow's been cooped up in quarantine for 2 weeks. He needs this." Through the ventilation slots of the crate came a low, rumbling sound that made several nearby aliens skitter backward in alarm. That's not a comfort pet, is it?" A small Pipkin student squeaked, her fur standing on end. "Define comfort," Jasmine said cheerfully, pressing the door chime. Professor Zilnax's voice crackled through the intercom. "Enter, human students. We are most eager to see what peaceful companion you've brought to share with the class." Kevin and Jasmine exchanged glances. Kevin mouthed the word peaceful with raised eyebrows. Jasmine just shrugged and pushed the hovercart through the doorway. The classroom fell silent as the two humans entered, 47 pairs of eyes and various other sensory organs fixed upon the large, decidedly non-transparent crate. "Greetings, Kevin and Jasmine," Professor Zilnax said, his translator rendering his words in perfect standard English. "Please, introduce us to your bonded companion." Jasmine stepped forward, her posture confident. "Thank you, Professor. Before we begin, I should mention that Shadow has been fully cleared by the Xenobiology Department and poses no threat to any sapient species." The caveat did nothing to ease the tension in the room. "Shadow is a prime example of humanity's unique relationship with predatory species," Kevin added, pulling up a holographic display. "While most spacefaring civilizations evolved as prey or omnivorous species with strong flight instincts, humans developed alongside some of the most efficient predators our world has ever produced." A Vrelnian student raised a tentacle. "But surely you brought a domesticated creature. Perhaps one of your small mammalian pets we've read about, the hamster or guinea pig." Jasmine's grin widened. "Oh, Shadow's domesticated, all right. Humans have been living with his species for over 40,000 years. We're partners." She moved to the crate's control panel. "Ready?" before Professor Zilnax could voice his growing concerns. Jasmine deactivated the lock. The crate's front panel hissed open. For a heartbeat, nothing happened. Then, with fluid grace that belied its size, Shadow emerged. The creature stood nearly a meter tall at the shoulder, its body covered in thick grain-black fur that rippled over dense muscle. Pointed ears swiveled, catching every sound in the room. But it was the eyes that truly captured attention, brilliant amber irises that gleamed with unmistakable intelligence and predatory focus. The animal's jaws parted slightly, revealing teeth designed for one purpose only: tearing flesh. The reaction was instantaneous. Students scrambled backward. Professor Zilnax's 3 eye stalks retracted in alarm. A Cathari student actually fainted, his bioluminescent fronds flickering out everyone. "Please," Kevin said calmly, though he couldn't quite suppress his smile. "This is Shadow. He's a Canis lupus familiarissa, a domestic dog, specifically, a German Shepherd." Shadow sat on his haunches beside Jasmine, his tail sweeping the floor in a friendly wag. His tongue lolled out in what humans recognized as a doggy smile, but what looked to the aliens like a display of threatening dentition. "Domestic," Professor Zilnax stammered. "That is an apex predator. Look at those claws, those fangs. The musculature clearly designed for pursuit hunting." "Yep," Jasmine agreed cheerfully, running her hand through Shadow's thick fur. The dog leaned into her touch, his eyes half closing in contentment. "Descended from gray wolves, humans didn't just live alongside them, we invited them into our homes, our lives, our families." Kevin's holographic display shifted, showing images of dogs throughout human history. "We turned the apex predator of our ancient world into our best friend. We bred them for thousands of years, not to remove their predatory nature, but to redirect it, to protect us, to work with us, to love us." A brave Kixian student ventured forward. "But how? Why would you want such a dangerous creature in your dwelling spaces?" Jasmine knelt beside Shadow, wrapping her arm around his neck. "Because humans aren't afraid of apex predators. We are apex predators. We saw something powerful and fierce, and instead of fearing it, we made it family." To demonstrate, she gave a command. Shadow shaked. The massive dog lifted his right paw. Jasmine grasped it formally, and they performed a perfect handshake. The classroom erupted in surprise, chittering and clicking. He knows over 50 commands, Kevin explained. He can track scents across kilometers, detect medical emergencies before they happen, and yes, protect his pack, which includes us, from any threat. Professor Zilnak slowly approached, his scientific curiosity warring with his survival instincts. May I attempt interaction? Jasmine nodded. Shadow friend. Shadow's demeanor shifted subtly. His posture relaxed further, and he made a soft chuffing sound. When Zilnax extended a trembling tentacle, Shadow sniffed it carefully, then licked it with his large pink tongue. The professor's translator barely captured his amazed whistle. Extraordinary. The precision of behavior control, the trust between species. Over the next hour, more students carefully approached. Shadow remained perfectly calm, allowing gentle touches and performing tricks for treats Kevin distributed. The initial terror transformed into fascination. A small Pipkin student finally asked the question everyone was thinking. What does this say about humans? Kevin and Jasmine exchanged knowing looks. It was Jasmine who answered. It says that when humanity sees something powerful, we don't necessarily run. Sometimes, we reach out. We found the most efficient killing machines on our planet, and we said, "You're pretty cool, want to be friends?" And they said yes. Kevin nodded. We learned to run with wolves before we learned to fly through space. We bonded with predators before we bonded with aliens. That's very human, turning the dangerous into the devoted, the wild into the willing. Shadow chose that moment to roll onto his back, exposing his belly in ultimate trust, his tail wagging furiously as Jasmine rubbed his stomach. The feared apex predator looked utterly ridiculous, tongue flopping, legs in the air, but Professor Zilnax observed the scene, his 3 eyes recording every detail. I believe, he said slowly, that we have much to learn from humanity's approach to interspecies relationships. This is remarkable. As the class ended and students filed out, many stopping to give Shadow one more careful pet, Kevin helped Jasmine guide their companion back toward the crate. Think they got the message? Kevin asked. Jasmine watched a Cathari student pause at the doorway, looking back at Shadow with wonder instead of fear. Oh yeah, they just learned something important about humans. What's that? We don't domesticate the cute and harmless. We befriend apex predators and turn them into family. And that's way more impressive. Shadow barked once, as if in agreement, and the sound echoed through the academy halls, the voice of Earth's ancient hunter, now humanity's eternal companion, reminding the galaxy that humans didn't just survive alongside predators, they thrived with them.